Miracles. Today we are on A Course in Miracles workbook lesson 157. And I'm going to jump right into this, and I think you guys are going to love this today. Today's lesson is, "Into His presence would I enter now." This is a day of silence and of trust. It is a special time of promise in your calendar of days. It is a time heaven has set apart to shine upon and cast a timeless light upon this day, when echoes of eternity are heard. This day is holy, for it ushers in a new experience, a different kind of feeling and awareness. You have spent long days and nights in celebrating death. Today, you learn to feel the joy of life. This is another crucial turning point in the curriculum. We add a new dimension now, a fresh experience that sheds a light on all that we have learned already and prepares us for what we have yet to learn. It brings us to the door where learning ceases, and we catch a glimpse of what lies past the highest reaches it can possibly attain. It leaves us here an instant, and we go beyond it, sure of our direction and our only goal. Today it will be given you to feel a touch of heaven, though you will return to paths of learning. Yet you have come far enough along the way to alter time sufficiently to rise above its laws and walk into eternity a while. This you will learn to do increasingly as every lesson, faithfully rehearsed, brings you more swiftly to this holy place and leaves you, for a moment, to yourself. He will direct your practicing today, for what you ask for now is what He wills. And having joined your will with His this day, what you are asking must be given you. Nothing is needed but today's idea to light your mind, and let it rest in still anticipation and in quiet joy, wherein you quickly leave the world behind. From this day forth, your ministry takes on a genuine devotion and a glow that travels from your fingertips to those you touch and blesses those you look upon. A vision reaches everyone you meet and everyone you think of, or who thinks of you. For your experience today will so transform your mind that it becomes the touchstone for the holy thoughts of God. Your body will be sanctified today, its only purpose being now to bring the vision of what you experience this day to light the world. We cannot give experience like this directly, yet it leaves a vision in our eyes which we can offer everyone, that he may come the sooner to do the same experience, in which the world is quietly forgot and heaven is remembered for a while. As this experience increases and all goals but this become of little worth, the world to which you will return becomes a little closer to the end of time, a little more like heaven in its ways, a little nearer its deliverance. And you who bring it light will come to see the light more sure, the vision more distinct. The time will come when you will not return in the same form in which you now appear, for you will have no need of it. Yet now it has a purpose and will serve it well. Today we will embark upon a course you have not dreamed of, but the Holy One, the giver of the happy dreams of life, translator of perception into truth, the holy guide to heaven given you, has dreamed this for you, this journey which you make and start today, with the experience this day holds out to you to be your own. Into Christ's presence will we enter now, serenely unaware of everything except His shining face and perfect love. The vision of His face will stay with you, but there will be an instant which transcends all vision, even this, the holiest. This you will never teach, for you attained it not through learning. Yet the vision speaks of your remembrance of what you knew that instant and will surely know again. And that is our lesson for today, A Course in Miracles, workbook lesson 157. And this is a little mind-blowing, right? I mean, what is this really saying? It's saying that if you give this day of silence and faith and trust and acknowledge and allow yourself to transcend this world, there's another experience waiting for you to see, right? So it's talking about heaven on earth and that it's available to you right now. And sometimes the confusing thing about A Course in Miracles and how it is written is it talks about His presence, right? As if His presence, meaning God, is something outside of yourself, or maybe even a person, right? That's outside of yourself. God, what is that? And why does A Course in Miracles talk about God in that way, as if it's something that is separate from you sometimes? And there's a good reason for that. So A Course in Miracles is written in such a way that you can understand it, right? Because I'll read a little bit about this in our book, The Most Commonly Asked Questions about A Course in Miracles. And this was written by Ken and Gloria Wapnick and published by the Foundation for A Course in Miracles. So the question is this: if God is not a person, why does Jesus portray him that way? This is confusing. And it is, right? It's confusing for me too. So what the Course says is that of all the messages you have received and failed to understand, this Course alone is open to your understanding and can be understood because this is your language. You do not understand it yet only because your whole communication is like a baby's. The sound a baby makes and what he hears are highly unreliable, meaning different things to him at different times. Right? So A Course in Miracles is written in your language so that you can understand it. Part of your early domestication experience, right? Because we weren't born with this understanding or taught, in this world of illusion that you are one with the mind of God. I mean, were you ever taught that when you were a child? Probably not. And so there's a lot of undoing that needs to be done. And the only way to reach that is to teach it in a way that you have been taught, right? The undoing. So later in the text, speaking of the oneness of Christ that teaches us from within our separated mind, the Course makes the same point and says, since you believe that you are separate, heaven presents itself to you as separate too. Not that it is in truth, but that the link that has been given you to join the truth may reach to you through what you understand, right? So yet must it, the oneness, use the language that this mind can understand in the condition in which it thinks it is, the dualistic state of separation. And it must use all learning to transfer illusions to the truth, taking all the false ideas of what you are and leading you beyond them to the truth that is beyond them, right? So that's why sometimes it's confusing when you hear what the Course is teaching and saying you're one mind of God, and then it talks about God as this somewhat separate thing. So again, the teacher of God, your one assignment could be stated thus: accept no compromise in which duality plays a part. So any passage in A Course in Miracles where it speaks of God doing anything, of having any characteristics of a Homo sapien anthropomorphisms, is inherently dualistic and therefore is a metaphor to express the abstract and non-specific love of God that is beyond all dualism. Similarly, any references to the Holy Spirit or Jesus doing anything fall into the same category. So again, the reason why A Course in Miracles is written this way is to connect with you in that place where you think and you still believe that you're separate and separated.